And what's up, you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mango Grove. How's everybody doing? How many people do we have here right now? 19 viewers waiting. How's it going, you guys? Make sure to smash that like button. Let us know if you can hear us properly. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hello to everyone.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone.
Awesome, loud and clear. Thank you, Stevie. Joel Cruz says hello. Hello, Joel. How's everyone doing? It's been a weird freaking week. Good God. This stream is going to be relatively chill. Can you guys hear the music properly? Is it too low, too loud? Let us know. It's good. Okay, Robert. Robert says it's good. Awesome. Alan Lee, good day from Malaysia. How's Malaysia? Malay food. I'm in love with Malay food. Okay, you guys can hear us all well. Awesome. Just trying to get all my screens in order. All right, Sean. I'm gonna show them your nice, beautiful, big smile and your hair. Are you ready with those curls?
I am. Let's go.
Awesome. And how's it going, you guys? Here we are. Sean, you're all blurry. Try moving back and forth, you know, just to get the camera into focus.
Why is that happening?
I have no idea. Is Sean blurry for you guys? He's blurry for me. Perhaps he just needs to... The camera needs a minute. It needs a minute on his smile. How's it going, Fetus?
I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Okay, cool. You do that. Joel says it's like I'm seeing Sean when drunk. Okay. There we go. Now smile at the audience, Sean. Pretty good.
Holy
How
shit,
about you guys?
what a week.
Yeah.
I was so shocked to find out it was Sunday today. How long has this been going on for? Like, when did all of this happen?
Last Friday, no? I think things started to sort of unfold last Friday. And yeah, it's just
7 days? It's been 9 days?
maybe not last Friday. God, I'm actually
Okay.
losing track of time. Like, days have just been such a blur. It's like I get up in the middle of the night looking for news. What's happening? You know, where's
Yeah,
the next
it's
counterparty
been 7
risk? I
days.
don't know if
It's
you guys
been
are feeling the
7
same way,
days.
though. Yeah.
It's been 7 days.
It's crazy. I still remember this when it all sort of happened, right? Sean, 2 in the morning here. I was actually on the phone with my family, and Sean's like, Krisha, something's happening with FTX. You know, CZ tweeted something. So, like, I'm in the middle of a call, and I go on over to Twitter, and I'm like, I was telling I was on the phone with my brother, and I'm just like, dude, I gotta go.
Right, so you gotta
Something's happening.
withdraw.
I gotta withdraw my funds. He's like, oh, what's happening?
Because let's be honest, guys, none of us really took it all that seriously until CZ sent out that tweet. And I'm like, oh shit. And you know what? At that point too, I didn't care whether it was CZ. Okay, this is what mattered to me. What mattered to me was the fact that everyone else was going to panic. Okay, because I wasn't looking into any of this. Right? Because we defer counterparty risk anyways. We're always risk managed across several exchanges. We don't put all our funds in there, etc., etc. So as soon as CZ sent out that message, I knew that everyone else was going to start taking things a lot more seriously, regardless of whether things were true or not. And lo and behold, like, I don't think CZ expected things to get this far as well. And holy shit, guys,
I
what's
think
going
he
on?
may have expected it. The fact that he was so relentless, I still think back to all of the tweets that sort of followed his initial tweet and how he responded to everything that came out of SBF and the FTX team. He knew what he was doing. In fact, there was he alluded to it very recently. I'm talking about yesterday, recently. Some other sort of Twitter influencer said that, you know what, with shady characters, this is how you deal with them. And CZ actually replied saying that, well said, right? I think I posted the tweet on the Grove. I'm like, ooh.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
Exactly what he was doing, and that's why I think he
I
expected
don't
it.
think he knew how weak they really were, right? I don't think he knew they were pushing things to this extent. Because when you look at all the data now, when you look at the books, when you look at the assets, this was negligence, and this isn't negligence either. Even if they were scamming people, even if it was fraud, there was no sophistication in it whatsoever. It was literally, hey, we need to grow faster than people withdraw funds. That was their strategy, which is why there was so much marketing to all of everything they were doing, right? Like, so much of it did not make sense, and it was surprising, impressive, all packed into one. They were sponsoring F1. They were sponsoring the Cricket World Cup. They were sponsoring like football stadiums and baseball stadiums too, I guess. It was ridiculous. Guys, you need to understand, in the last bear market, FTX did not exist. He did not exist, right? FTX was just a token. I remember the ICO, the FTT ICO, being pitched to me by one of my friends at the time. We were in like a small private group, and we had just gone through the big ICO mania phase and the big drawdowns, etc. So I was in no mood for any of that. But he talked about the team being really smart, etc., etc. And you know what? It ended up being true, right? You know, FTX was FTX spawned out of the token, right? The ICO was first, and then we had FTX, which kept improving. But I don't know. Things were happening on FTX, even the exchange, way too fast. But Jesus Christ, yeah, when I think back to the fact that all of this did not even exist in 2018, and then suddenly, come 2022, they are not only the biggest exchange, but they're drafting policy, right? Drafting policy on the direction of crypto globally. This is ridiculous. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started, Krisha. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about today, but I do want to talk about the charts, because there have been such easy trades recently, really, really easy trades that I think people are missing out on. So much to talk about, but also want to talk about charts. So guys, stay tuned for that too.
Yeah, so it's a weird time right now. I know a lot of people are skeptical to trade because of the counterparty risk, and people are feeling a bit antsy about the exchanges. However, so today, guys, yes, of course, we're going to be going over the drama, but hey, we're also going to be going over the charts as well, okay? So for those of you who are only here for the charts, we'll be going over the charts as well, just to let you know, just to sort of be price, I can't say price agnostic is not the right word, but just to look at the charts and like make it an independent sector of all of this, okay? So we're going to try and separate the fundamentals and the technicals right here. So Sean, do you want to start off with the charts first, or do you want to get on over to the news first?
We'll just do a quick rundown on what's happening with BlockFi at the very least, because I think there's something interesting going on over there.
Okay.
So
drama first. Yeah. Drama first, guys. Okay, so there's a lot of drama to cover. Man, the shit that's coming out every freaking day is just insane. I'm sure you guys are thoroughly amused. All right, so let's switch on over to, Twitter is our best source of entertainment right now. So I'm going to do that. And in 3, 2, Twitter discussions. There we go. Okay, so this was the BlockFi letter that went out to its users, as well as this was communicated over BlockFi's main Twitter account. They go on to say that we are shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. we, like the rest of the world, found out about the situation through Twitter. Given the lack of clarity on the status of FTX.com, FTX US, and Alameda, we're not able to operate business as usual.
So essentially, we heard that they were saying, all right, guys, that's it. No more withdrawals. And okay, Kusha, you know what was really interesting to me, at least?
Go on.
Okay.
I'm so pissed off about this, but I'll tell you why. Go on.
They did not address whether or not they had funds that they lent out to FTX.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is where it all comes together for me. Or rather, that morning was when I went, oh shit, and I started PMing all of my close friends who are big investors in the space, as well as who were big investors, or rather they had funds in BlockFi, at least up until the Celsius incident. And okay, we all knew that FTX was providing a line of credit to BlockFi. Okay, that was
Did we though? Did we know that?
Yeah, we knew that. I knew that at the very least.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You guys should have all known that. Because during the entire Luna and prece debacle, BlockFi got bailed out by FTX. And at that time, Krisha, I was discussing with you and Mike, and I said, this is what I'd said. I said, FTX is going to bail BlockFi out only if BlockFi agrees to perform all future trades on FTX, or at least a significant amount, right? Because they'll want something back, like something significant back. And as an exchange, you're going to want trading volume on your exchange, right? So basically, SBF may have gone up to them and said, hey, listen, we'll bail you out, but all of your funds comes to us. Now, at the time, I didn't think it was done through a malicious way, more like a negotiation tactic to help them out too. Because hey, you're going to want that as an exchange. I didn't know that they were going to be using it to prop up their Ponzi scheme, because they were bailing out BlockFi under the pretense that hey, look at me, I'm the JP Morgan. But what he was really doing was, hey, I want all of your customer funds as part of my Ponzi scheme as well, right? And that was just at the time when we discussed it, we didn't think of this as a Ponzi, but we knew FTX was likely going to pull BlockFi's arm and get all of the customer trading volume onto FTX. That's why I never associate myself with BlockFi after that, right? Well, we never really did as Mango anyways, but I did have some funds on BlockFi up until the prece incident, which we pulled out during the Celsius and Luna incident. But after that, there was like no touching BlockFi whatsoever, because it started being risky. You don't know when the contagion was going to hit. Now, in this email, what really got me concerned was you guys aren't telling us whether or not you had exposure to FTX. Because everyone else who came out said, we had 20% exposure, we had 30% exposure, but we will survive, we will claw back. BlockFi just went quiet. And now, Krisha, you can share the email, or rather the theory. Was a theory or like the tweet? Yeah. That's
so I'll share that. But what was really, it was so messed up is that after the FTX news actually came out and people were anyways like super worried about their funds that were stuck on FTX, then they began to actually question other exchanges that they were exposed to, like any normal trader or person would, right? At that point, you're skeptical of everything. And the thing is that on Twitter, you can actually go on over to BlockFi or just type #BlockFi. And you can look at all the tweets that poured in after the FTX debacle, because people actually reached out to BlockFi and asked them, like, hey, are you guys okay? Is everything okay at BlockFi? And they replied to almost every tweet trying to, put everyone's reservations to rest, saying that, no, we're okay. That's what at least they tried to portray. And then I kid you not, in like less than 24 hours, the picture changed like that. So that was like freaking disingenuous to like the next level.
Kusha, they need to be disingenuous.
But it was so messed up though. Like I was looking into this. I'm like, this is so messed up. Like, why do this?
You need to restore, or rather you need to maintain confidence in your customers as long as there's hope. Maybe they had hope. Okay, maybe at that point they were thinking, maybe there's a chance that we may get our funds back, right? At least our funds. Maybe we can contact SBF, because they had a relationship with him clearly. They trusted him clearly. At that point, they're like, okay, you know what? Okay, again, I want to go back to what I was saying. If the line of credit was the only issue, they can get another line of credit from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, because what is the line of credit allowing them to do? It's allowing them to solve their duration mismatch, because banks essentially, they borrow on the short end and they lend on the long term, right? But if you have duration mismatch in that you owe money now to customers who want their money now, but you don't have the money now in terms of liquidity, right? Basically, there are other customers who have borrowed from you, and you're waiting on them to give it back to you. That's a duration mismatch. Just a quick example for you guys, okay? Let's say Krisha lends me money, right? She lends me 1 Bitcoin. I take that money and I go ahead and lend it to Sherwin, okay? Now, Sherwin says, okay, I'm going to give it back to you in 3 years. But Krisha is expecting it back in 1 year. Okay, now in my head, I'm thinking, you know what, in 1 year, I'm just going to extend Krisha's loan. She's going to likely want that loan for another 1 year. So I'll be fine, right? But in 1 year, Krisha doesn't extend her loan. She comes and asks me back for her Bitcoin. And now I'm in trouble because Sherwin can only give it back to me in 3 years. That's called a duration mismatch, right? So when you have a duration mismatch like that, you can go to a bank like SBF and say, hey, I want a line of credit, and that's going to allow me to fix my duration mismatch. I'm good for the money. I just don't have liquidity. Okay, I'm solvent. I just don't have liquidity. So if that was the only problem, BlockFi was fine. But if now there's an asset liability mismatch, that's insolvency. When you get an asset liability mismatch, when you lose all your assets. And that's probably what happened when SBF stopped returning BlockFi's calls. Because at one point they must have been thinking, you know what, we're fine. He may give us our funds back at the very least. There's a little bit of hope. So they had to keep that confidence, Krisha, because if everyone withdraws their money, like how you came to me and said, nope, I want my money in 1 year as I promised. If everyone comes and does that at the same time, then they are really in trouble, right? Because now they don't only just have a temporary asset liability mismatch, but now they have a bank run giving them a big asset liability mismatch. So I think that's why they needed to do that. I'm not justifying it, but everyone's going to do that. And guys, as soon as you see any exchange say, we are fine, assets are fine, don't worry, just freaking take your money out, man. Just take your money out. Yeah. Right? Don't wait. Just take your money out, because that's a big red flag on its own. You shouldn't even need to say that, because if you are in a position where you're forced to say that, it means that someone's trying to poke a hole at your vulnerability. You may be able to defend it, but all it takes is one bank run, and it's done.
So now we'll go on over to that tweet that you were talking about, right? What the speculation is. So not actually speculation. So this apparently came from a BlockFi employee. He says, I think this employee is anonymous, chose to be anonymous, says the only reason FTX bailed us out was to get our user funds onto their platform to use in their shell game. They applied immense pressure to get BlockFi funds migrated to FTX custody. Employees were told by executives not to ask questions about the move.
This is what is concerning. I don't get that part. Okay. So, Kush, explain the first bit to them, right?
So the only reason why FTX bailed us out, okay, so basically because of the whole 3AC. So for those of you who do not know what happened with the whole 3AC, 3AC had actually borrowed funds from BlockFi. And well, we all know what happened to 3AC. They fell apart, right? So those borrowed funds, they could no longer pay back to BlockFi. Now that was a huge hole in BlockFi's balance sheet. So they had to reach out for aid from somebody else, and that somebody else was FTX. FTX said that, okay, we're going to extend a line of credit only if they got BlockFi put their user funds onto the FTX exchange. Okay, they would only give them the credit if BlockFi decided to put their user funds, so whatever you deposit onto BlockFi, those funds actually goes on over to FTX, right? And now we all know what happened to the funds on FTX. They basically took our funds and they leveraged it without our permissions. That was non-disclosure. Okay, they leveraged it without our permission and they freaking lost it.
Yeah.
Right.
So now the employees from within BlockFi are seeing all the funds, all customer funds, move to FTX. Okay, and they were told, "Hey, don't ask any questions." That's a red flag from within the freaking industry, man. That's like from within the company. Like if I were in a company and I was asked to not ask any questions, that's freaking huge. That's huge. I was the annoying employee that was always asking questions on everything. But yeah, this
Is it baffling that there were no whistleblowers on any of this shit? Like, people have been talking about, FTX being shady. Multiple people were actually talking about it. You actually sent me a video of somebody who actually came out last month saying that FTX, where are they getting this liquidity from? It's one big Ponzi, right? So there were people trying to blow the whistle, but these were not people internal. I feel like they were not internal on FTX. These were people on the outside of FTX trying to evaluate the company for everything that it had and looking at the math and saying that, hey, this breakdown makes no freaking sense. Where is all this money coming from? Right? So I'm surprised that there were no like internal whistleblowers. Now they're coming out, sure. But before, I mean, where were all these people?
There were, Krisha, that's what I mean by people with a big platform have a responsibility to put these guys on to be a check on these guys, right? If we want to be a decentralized community, that comes with responsibility. And this is what I was talking about all the way back in the Luna episode as well, right? People were giving Raul a lot of shit, but we had mentioned Raul over here on Mango. Now, again, I have a lot of respect for the guy. I have a lot of respect for Real Vision, but I've always said that you got to understand that your viewers and your audience are not as adept as you are with navigating the financial markets, right? So, for example, if I'm bullish on Ethereum to a certain extent, I'm gonna tamper down how bullish I am to my community. Why? Because I know I'm going to be allocating maybe 3 or 4% of my entire portfolio to Ethereum, and to me, that is still a big position size compared to what I'm usually putting into altcoins, right? But I'm going to sound very excited about that, but I'll pull back and be like, no, hold up. If I sound too excited on Ethereum or any altcoin, someone else may go and put their entire portfolio on Ethereum or their entire portfolio on so-and-so coin, right? I am trying to understand my audience and understand that they don't have the same financial savvy to navigate risk in these markets. He doesn't do that, right? He gets really excited, and then he'll throw a one-liner on risk management. And I'm thinking, man, I get what you're saying is all valid, and you will manage your risk, and you will have all of your finances in check, right? He's not going to put all of his funds into Luna, but he'll put a certain amount because he's bullish on it. But the way he gets excited about all of it gets other people to go all in on this shit, right? And I think that's the kind of responsibility and ownership that a lot of big influencers do not take in the space when they should be taking it. If you have a massive platform, and Mango has such a small platform, we have like only 50,000 subscribers, which is really low compared to at least these guys. And I still go out of my way to really tamper down my excitement when it comes to a lot of altcoins that I am bullish on. In fact, some I just don't mention whatsoever because I'm trying to protect the community so much. But then I see what Raul is doing, and as much as I respect him and everything that he's done and all the knowledge that he has, the way he communicates to his audience, it's a bit too exciting sometimes, and it gets them in trouble, right? And I think that guy, this Adam Cahoots guy, I forget his name, the guy who has been calling out SBF for a while now, he's been on Raul's case recently saying, I asked you to put me on stage with SBF. We could have avoided all of this. We could have made sure that all of this came out a lot earlier, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You have a point there. And I think Raul has a responsibility to kind of at least, okay, let's say SBF denied the interview. Denied the interview. Why didn't Raul give this guy a platform on his stage, right? Because he's a conspiracy theory guy? Well, everything Raul does is kind of, in a way, a conspiracy theory, right? People love this shit. People love this. It will help Real Vision. It would have done so good for Real Vision if they were in a position to kind of push a weird conspiracy theory that everyone's like, oh, wow, this could be true. This may not be true, but doesn't matter. it brings the conversation forward. So why didn't he?
Perhaps it's about
Other than trying to protect his bags. Other than trying to protect his bags because it did not fit with his vision of crypto being going to the moon with no downside, which does not. We've seen this year that there's so many bad actors. So many bad actors, right? Do Kwon, 3AC, which, by the way, we have a conversation on them too coming up. Like, man, it all intermingles.
Yeah, but perhaps it was about, we don't know what Raul's bags looks like, right? I don't know if he had exposure to FTX or FTT or whatever. But perhaps it's about pissing off the big pockets, because these guys were like, I mean, CNBC gave them such a big frigging platform, right? They call Sam Bankman-Fried the JP Morgan of the crypto world, because he just came out bailing out people. Freaking some JP Morgan, can't even compare the two. He's spitting on JP Morgan's grave at this point. But so we have this entire thing. So I don't know. I think it was mainly about pissing off the big.
When he bailed out everyone in 1907, he was at the peak of his career. He had a financial career that was 70 years in the making. SBF was 29 years old. So there's a big difference. Anyways, go on.
Dread Mining says CNBC equals Disney Channel. No, Disney's better. At least you have fun with Disney. But this actually goes on to, like, this is a good segue into, well, how many people, like a lot of people have been getting heat, especially influencers online have been getting heat for actually, promoting Blockfi to their audiences. And one of those people was actually Peter McCormick. Did you see that thread that came out by Peter McCormick trying to defend himself? Because a lot of people were giving him so much freaking flack over this.
Over the BlockFi thing?
Over the BlockFi thing, because we had Peter McCormick actually coming out and very publicly saying that, you know what, use BlockFi, I use BlockFi, blah, 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 blah. So Peter McCormick was one of those people. Who else was it? Pomp was one, Pompliano. I'm going to go and switch that tweet, and this is it. So he had to come out and sort of defend himself. This came out 5 hours ago. He's like, a short thread regarding BlockFi. As they've been caught up in the FTX debacle, there are a number of accusations flying around, which I thought is best to address. Not everyone will like what I have to say, but here it is. So essentially, in this thread, he goes on to defend his position on him actually, promoting BlockFi, because BlockFi was actually sponsoring his podcast, which is the What Bitcoin Did podcast. Anyways, he goes on to tell everybody that, listen, guys, I did not just sponsor it for, just to sort of shill it to you guys. I was using it too because I thought that it was a good product. And I thought that was a very, very fair sort of point, right? He did not do it irresponsibly. It's not like he was just, giving it to his audience and not using it himself. He was also using BlockFi. However, after the 3AC incident that took place, a lot of heat came on over to BlockFi. If you guys remember, if you guys were here, BlockFi got a lot of heat because now they were suddenly in trouble. So at that point, Peter McCormick had to approach them, had a word with them. And when he found out that, hey, FTX was now going to be involved in this entire sort of setup, Peter McCormick decided to step down, right? And that's when he decided to end that sponsorship deal that he had with BlockFi, and consequentially also withdrew his funds from the exchange, from the BlockFi platform. However, that was not communicated to his audience, right?
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah, so that was not communicated to his audience. But
no, he didn't say anything at all. He didn't say that that's BS. Okay, then that changes the story, because I was about to stand up for him over here. I was about to stand up for him and say, you know what, this isn't fair. The community shouldn't be going after him. If he actually stepped down and announced it, like, he's allowed to make a mistake and change his mind. We are, like, I could have been endorsed, like, let's say, for example, we endorse BitGet at the moment, but we also do it in a very, very, like, we don't trust any exchange, and we never will, but we use exchanges to defer counterparty risk, right? But BitGet could have been involved in all of this mess, right? But I'm allowed to make a mistake, and I'm allowed to own up to it, etc., etc. Or for example, let's say I notice something shady going on with BitGet. I'm allowed to change my mind and be like, guys, I'm withdrawing all of my money, not a single cent in there. I'm out, right? You guys can do what you want after this, but I am no longer affiliated with them, right? I'm allowed to do that. And if influencers get prosecuted for even temporarily suggesting an exchange that they are using as well, then that's going to hurt the community. However, that's not what happened here. He never announced it. He never announced that he's done with BlockFi. That's bullshit. Because I remember him endorsing BlockFi like really vehemently, right? He was, Zach is amazing. I really like Zach. I spoke to Zach here, spoke to Zach there. I trust the guy, this and this. I mean, it influenced me as well, because it wasn't just Peter, it was Nick Carter as well. Nick Carter, Castle Ventures, actually pushed BlockFi. They invested in BlockFi. They were seed investor. So these guys are allowed to change their mind, right? But they should change their mind publicly. They can't just leave investors in there. I mean, their audience in there.
But now, like, I mean, it's a tough call, right? Because now he also goes on to say, he's like, I understand this expectation, but with all sponsors, I have a contract. These include terms of breach of contract and non-disparagement clauses. So we don't know what his contract really said, even after the, after he ended his contract with Blockfi. So there was a lot, like, probably happening behind the scenes that people did not know about. So to an extent, I can empathize with his situation, and I mean, this post by him is appreciated. At least these are my thoughts. However, as I was scrolling through this, right, I'm like, okay, you know what? Peter McCormick had all of this to say in his defense, and now suddenly, like, every time you guys watch a YouTube video, what's the first thing you do after that? Especially if you're intrigued, you go down to the comment section and see what people have to say about it. So, anyways, I scrolled all the way down to the comment section when I get to it.
It's a long thread. Holy.
It's a really, really long thread. Okay, so I can't seem to pull up all the comments. But anyways, turns out one guy actually posted one of Peter McCormick's previous tweets promoting BlockFi. This tweet, he had posted a picture of his sports car, okay, that he just bought. And he's like, okay, so what he tried to allude to in that tweet was his BlockFi interest payments was going to pay for the car. And when I saw that, I'm like, why? That is so unnecessary. You're essentially trying to get people to FOMO into BlockFi just by doing that, saying that, guys, BlockFi is paying
a brand new car.
Yeah.
That sports, I remember he bought like a sports car. And
I don't know if it was a Maserati or something, but anyways, he was basically trying to say that, hey guys, the interest payments that I'm receiving from BlockFi is essentially paying for the monthly payments on my car. That's how much I'm receiving from BlockFi. And it was a really expensive car. So, of course, it was unnecessary. And, of course, people would FOMO, especially sort of newcomers into the space who think that, hey, you can turn $1 into $1 million in no time. So that I was not okay with. I think shilling, I would call that a shill at this point. Shilling BlockFi to that extent is just, I don't know. It's weird. It's shady.
I guess he got, I don't know.
Like, how much? Like, it's too much. What is too much to you guys? Like, I don't know. How would you guys look at a tweet like that?
He apologizes, right? In this tweet, he apologizes, right? Give the guy some. Let's cut the guy some slack. Peter McCormick is definitely not one of the malicious guys in the space. So, people should stop pointing fingers at influencers who are actually trying their best to push a more decentralized world. I want to go back to one of the tweets, Kusha, where we get a hint to when all of this drama started, and this kind of gives us some TA as well to talk about. Essentially, the tweet where we get a hint as to the fact that the feud between CZ and
that's a good one. In fact, one of you guys in the audience, just at the beginning of this conversation, someone asked about this. Let's go ahead and pull that one up. Man, so much has happened in such a short time. The FTX story is wild. Give me a second. Is it this one by Max Boonen? Yeah.
Okay.
This is it.
So this is really...
So Sean brought this one up to my attention and blew my freaking mind as to how deep this drama runs, guys. This has been running for a very, very, very long time. I feel like this was when you put a pot of water on fire and you're waiting for it to simmer, then come to a boil. This was the boiling point, and at this point, all the water is sort of pouring out of the pot right now. But this was when things were beginning to start, simmering on that pot. So yeah, Sean, you can sort of explain to them what happened here. Do you have the tweet pulled up on your end?
I could pull it up quickly, but give me a second.
So someone's actually gone ahead and dug up the entire history and what went down behind FTX and Binance and CZ.
If you guys were trading back in 2019, 2018, you guys probably remember this, right? Bitcoin had a massive wick down on the Binance Futures Exchange. It happened only on the Binance Futures Exchange from around 10,400 all the way down to 9,900-ish, right? That was a massive wick, and that kind of volatility back during that phase was kind of like, whoa, how the hell that happened? Now, apparently, guys, okay, and Krisha, you can show them the image of the, yeah, there you go. Apparently, that was actually caused by Almeida, okay? Keep in mind that back then, they were still pretty small. They weren't a big name, etc., etc. They were just a market-making firm, and they were using, I believe, arbitrage to make a lot of their money. And another thing that they were doing was essentially doing things like this, stopping out people's positions. And they actually attacked the Binance Futures Exchange, hoping to, I think, push it down, maybe crash it entirely, and steal a lot of Bitcoin. Like, there was a lot of liquidation tapped into on that wick over there. So, yeah, you can. And CZ essentially makes an announcement over there. A market maker from a smaller futures exchange. They are referring to FTX because FTX at the time was a smaller futures exchange. Market maker from a smaller futures exchange tried to attack Binance Futures platform. No one was liquidated, as we use the index price, not the futures price, for liquidations. This is our innovation, right? He's basically trying to prop the exchange up over there. I'm not even sure if that's true. What does he say over there? No one was liquidated as we use the
index price. So for those of you,
I don't think that's true. Is that his innovation?
No, I don't know if that's his innovation. But the thing is that, so for those of you who do not know how this works, so when it comes to these, when it comes to futures exchanges, right? They use a whole lot of other exchanges. Basically, they take the average of a bunch of other exchanges, and then they come up with that spot price. That way, if there's any adverse movement on only one platform, the trader does not get affected. Okay, so that's why they take like a combination. They call that the index price. They take a combination of various exchanges, and the Bitcoin prices on all of these various exchanges take the average of that, and that is the price that they use. So that is more like a safety mechanism that they have built in for traders, just in case there's like an adverse move like this wick right here, right? This is an adverse move that only happened on the Binance exchange, right? So because they have that mechanism at play, people do not get liquidated because of that, right? That's why he says no one was liquidated. Only the attacker lost a bunch of money, and that was that.
Yeah. So this is apparently where it all started, and this actually ties into what Joseph. Joseph, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it, man. So Joseph says the UOB CEO claims that SBF was responsible for Luna and Three Arrows Capital collapse. DZ tried to stop him, but he went ahead anyways. This actually all ties in perfectly now, because now we already have a precedent for Almeida attempting something like this on even Binance. Okay, so they already are kind of setting themselves up as bad actors in the space. Okay, now Krisha, this is essentially the theory that is being put forth, and there's a lot of people who are backing all of this. Okay, this was a theory being put forward, and before it did not make sense, but now there's new information that I found out that actually adds all of this together. But let's start with the theory. The theory is that, hey, Almeida went after Luna, to crash Luna, in order to actually go after 3AC. They were hunting 3AC stops because they knew where 3AC stops were. Everyone knew where 3AC stops were, right? Because all this information was available on the blockchain. Now, 3AC set their stops at around, I think, $24,000 was their liquidation, at which point they would get a margin call to top up. But they probably knew that if they were as leveraged, and again, duration mismatch, asset liability mismatch, etc., if they knew that 3AC would be put in a bad position, that they couldn't meet those margin calls, they would have to liquidate. And that would be very, very beneficial to Almeida if they could come in and tap into all of that liquidity that 3AC was forced to sell at lower prices. Like, I think I'm forgetting the Ethereum price, but what, 1,200-ish, 900-ish Ethereum wicked all the way down to. That apparently was facilitated by Almeida, okay? But none of that makes a lot of sense when you take into consideration that the Luna debacle and the 3AC debacle hurt Almeida so much, right? It doesn't add up. Why would Almeida go and do this if they were the ones who took such a huge loss that SBF had to step in and use customer funds to bail them out? Because people say, hey, Almeida went after 3AC stops, they caused the entire Luna episode as well.
Yeah.
But then why would they hurt themselves? Why did SBF need to take customer funds, our funds, and bail out Almeida? So that didn't line up, so I didn't give it too much credence. But then I found out that the reason FTX got so popular to begin with, okay, and the reason they grew so fast was because of their unique market making liquidation engine. Okay, their market making and their liquidation engine. Now, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it, but essentially the way it works is if the market moves too fast to facilitate a liquidation at a fair price, let's say you guys get liquidated on your stops, but the market moves so fast that your stop does not get triggered. Okay, your stop does not get triggered at the price you would want. What would happen on another exchange is that you would get a very, very bad price, maybe like a few $100s lower. If it's Ethereum, maybe freaking, if it's Bitcoin, thousands of dollars lower. If it's Ethereum, few hundreds dollars lower. If it's Luna, $10, $20 lower, right? So significant wicks is the price you're going to pay if there's no liquidity on the books for the liquidation engine to actually give you a good exit price. However, the reason people liked using FTX was because they had a liquidation engine system where a market maker would step in at the moment of the liquidation and provide liquidity. At the moment of liquidation, they would step in to be able to give you, Krisha, a fair exit price. Right? So that is very attractive to all of us as traders. Right? We're like, oh, wow, okay, cool. Because I get tighter, it basically gives people tighter bid-ask spreads because market makers are more willing to put on positions over there, as well as you as a trader, you're feeling a lot more confident, okay? Again, not going to get into technicalities of all of it, but their system essentially was a market maker would step in at crisis events to provide liquidity at a juncture that otherwise you would not get liquidity.
Okay.
Now, I think all of this broke when Luna broke. I think Almeida was forced to step in to take a lot of people's stop losses and take a lot of people's positions at a rapid pace, at a pace that they could not keep up with. They basically caused the liquidation, but they did not realize that they would have to take in all the positions of the cascading liquidations caused by the UST unwind.
So you're saying
UST was printing and selling Luna, right? So that essentially, okay, now, again, guys, this is
wait, I need to understand something. So you're saying that FTX and Alameda were in bed even before the whole Luna debacle?
Oh yeah, hands down, because
so
FTX is owned by SBF and Almeida is owned by SBF.
So I didn't know that. I thought this was only a partnership that took place
after
the Luna debacle, because that's when
FTX was the CEO of Almeida prior to all of this, and then he moved on. They wanted to cause a separation between the two firms. So he's like, okay, I'm no longer involved with Almeida. I'm going to be running FTX only. I think all of this went to shit was when they realized that, oh shit, our engine, okay. Now again, guys, I could be wrong on this, and this is just me putting all this together, but this is all speculation. But I'm thinking in my head, because why would SBF? It felt so stupid, right? Other than ego, why would SBF come out to bail out? Why would he come and bail out Almeida when they're failing, right? He's just better off letting them fail. Other than wanting everyone to survive and risk going to jail for a firm, there was very little to risk. However, the only time it makes sense to do what he did was if Almeida fails and they come out and say, we failed because FTX's engine is ass. If they say that publicly, everyone leaves FTX. They lose their trading volume. Correct? So if they lose their trading volume, FTX is going to fail as well. So SBF might be thinking, oh shit, at this point, I need to save Almeida because if Almeida fails, FTX will fail.
Right.
So they went after 3AC, they went after Luna, and they shot themselves in the foot, and that freaking foot wound festered into a gut wound. And that gut wound caused a heart disease. And that heart disease was essentially found out by Dr. CZ. I think that's what happened.
This is so crazy how deep all this shit runs. Okay, and so I'm just looking at the chat right now, and Gary Gensler in that, I don't know what's happening, so we just know that he was trying to go and lobby for himself, not even the crypto space, for himself. But coming back to what Sean said, so I think the entire thing was caused by the whole Luna fiasco because they essentially, long story short, Alameda had to take a loss on being the liquidity provider of last resort when the whole Luna debacle happened, because the way Luna freaking dropped, that's when the engine kicked in, they took a beating, right? So do you think that because Alameda lost so much on the whole Luna fiasco and all of that huge freaking very rapid dump to the downside, do you think that because of that they chased 3AC's liquidation point and subsequently also got greedy on getting in more liquidity to make up for that loss?
No, I think I don't know. None of this is all of this is speculation, guys. But I think they went after 3AC, and they shot themselves in the foot in the bargain because they didn't expect to take such a huge loss on the Luna debacle. You should pull up Kyle Davies' tweet now, because he essentially confirms that Almeida, SBF, went after his stops.
Yeah, so here's Kyle Davies, who is one of the co-owners of 3AC. It was Kyle Davies and Zuzu. I always mix up those two. Suzu or Zuzu? Anyways, the universe works in mysterious ways. Over the past year, I've seen the highest high and the lowest low of my life. I know many reading this have as well. Humanity, community, happiness are worth it. In this post, he goes on to basically flesh out how FTX / Alameda were also sort of trying to chase their stops. Although I have my own points on their stop losses and their liquidation point, which in my opinion was freaking stupid. Like their liquidation point, 3AC's liquidation point could have been chased by a baby. I still remember before even the debacle happened, before 3AC even went down, the thing is that their liquidation point was on chain for everybody to see. Now, at which point, at the point that Bitcoin was sitting at back then, before the incident happened, I think Bitcoin was sitting at around $45,000, maybe closer to 50. But their liquidation point was sitting at some $37,000 to $35,000, something like stupidly close. All right, and if it was broadcasted for the world to see. And I remember, Sean, do you remember that when I saw their liquidation point? I looked at it and I'm just like, dude, someone's gonna take it out. Like this is ridiculous. Who would have such a stupid liquidation point? And I'm like, yeah. I still remember that, and I was so baffled by the fact that they had no, like, I would be worried, even as a smaller trader compared to them, I would be freaking worried if my liquidation point was that freaking close. Okay, especially given the market volatility. We just had the Luna episode happen, right? Market
It wasn't
is
that
volatile.
close at the time.
No, it was close. It was freaking
I'm
close.
not defending them. I think what
gotta-
they were doing was stupid. Price was 40. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fine, you're right.
You
You're
gotta
right.
look
Price
at the
was around 40.
prevailing volatility on the chart. When you're looking at the volatility on the chart, you're looking at the damn liquidation point. I'm sorry, that liquidation point was freaking close as shit.
That's true,
You know,
that's
and I tweeted about this. I'm like, that liquidation point could have been freaking swept by a goddamn baby. Right? So to cry about it now, I mean, I would be worried. I'm like, no, we need to freaking bring that damn liquidation point as freaking low as possible and fast. So, yeah, in this, he's like, I ran a hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital with Sue for over a decade, 7 to 10 figure organic. Since 2018, we were all in on crypto. In May 2022, Luna exploded, and the aftermath of correlated positions / spreads and investments all moving against got us. So basically, he's trying to say that because Luna exploded, all of that momentum, all of that volatility got to them and their positions. We understand now that FTX / Alameda hunted our positions, but at the end of the day, we lost our money. We were the largest losers, and that of liquidity providers / creditors. Today,
I want to pause a tad bit over here, because that sentence over there kind of bothers me. The previous one in the previous tweet, where he says, in May 2021, Luna exploded, and the aftermath of correlated positions, spreads, investments, all moving against. I think it means all moving against us.
Yeah.
Got us, right? So this is where it really screams amateur hour. Okay, he's not talking about the momentum there, Krisha. He's talking about the fact that all of their positions were correlated. And we have an entire section within the seed risk management module too, where we talk about just this. We talk about how in crypto, all of your positions are correlated, right? Like when you take an altcoin position and then you take another altcoin position and then you take another altcoin position, your total risk is actually the risk of all of those positions put together. All of the positions put together, because when one altcoin goes down, there's a very, very, very high probability that they will all go down together. Now, if they don't, that's fine. You're in a good position, and you could just call yourself lucky, but you cannot expect it to not all go down together. You have to expect it to all go down together. So you should always look at your total exposure when you are in crypto, because they brag about being all in crypto. Well, crypto goes all down at the same time or all up at the same time, right? So I don't know how they were actually expecting to use their crypto collateral to feed liquidity to themselves when they needed it the most, because that's what they ended up doing. And that's where it's crammed amateur hour, where he actually says that right over there, the aftermath of correlated positions, spreads, investments, all moving against us. Well, everything in the markets are all correlated together, right? Everything's correlated, but they only had crypto. You cannot say that's you shouldn't. Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to rant over there a tad bit. It's just bad risk management, because you can have a stop loss like you at like $24,000, for example. That's fine, like a liquidation point at $24,000, as long as not all of your assets are going down together at the same time, right? Because then you can use your other asset to feed into that asset that is being challenged, right? If one of your assets is being challenged, or one of your positions is being challenged because it's going the other way, well, you should have another position, offsetting position, that should not be, at the very least, it should not have a high probability of going the same way as your position that is getting challenged.
That's
right?
difficult, though. That's difficult in crypto, because the thing is that
No,
they actually
that's my point, Trisha. Yeah. You cannot be leveraged on all crypto positions, and they were leveraged on all crypto. Their Ethereum was leveraged, and their Bitcoin was leveraged, right? And other assets were leveraged as well. So you cannot say something like, "Oh, all correlated positions went against us." Well, crypto by default is correlated, right? So it's more likely that you're not going to be able to defend that position at $24,000, Krisha. That's what I meant by the stop loss. The liquidation point wasn't too bad, as long as you have something to offset it. And they did not have that. And when you're playing with clients' money like this, it's irresponsible. It's very irresponsible.
Yeah, so he goes on to say, today we are not in control of the firm. There is a liquidation process which will run due course for all involved. Luna/UST was unprecedented and we completely messed up on the thesis around it. We were attacked by the quality of backers, builders, team, and didn't spend enough time on the mechanics. We didn't understand the contagion effect Luna would have. We didn't think that one of our primary exchanges would hunt Luna and then us as a client. And I think that's where it was a massive conflict of interest to have FTX and Alameda in bed, right? At that point, you're a pure bucket shop, right? Because what is a bucket shop? For those of you, yes. So for those of you who do not know the definition of the term bucket shop, because it's being thrown out there, a bucket shop used to operate back in the day. This is before the advent of technology. Essentially, what happens here is that you as a trader, retail trader, you'll go and you'll start trading on an exchange like FTX. You know, you put in your position, you have a buy, you have an entry, right? And you also decide, okay, you know what? I want to get stopped out on this level. So accordingly, you're going to go ahead and place your stop loss at a certain level. Now, the whole market dynamics goes such that a lot of people would likely place their stop loss at a very similar level. So the exchange, the internal exchange, actually knows that, right? And now when they're in bed with a trading firm and they can see where your stop losses are, they're going to take that information, they're going to give it to the trading firm. The trading firm is going to come, hunt you guys out, and then take price up. You guys are called liquidity pools. So they come tap into those liquidity pools and take it up, right? So now you're like free liquidity on the book. And it's unfair practices because they have that data just there with them and they're essentially selling it to somebody else. So it's very, very shady business. When exchanges do that, they're called bucket shops. All right, so most exchanges, most of crypto is one big freaking bucket shop, Sean. Right, so you can't really trust anyone. But I think that was a massive conflict of interest there with Luna and Alameda being in bed.
I think the key part of there was when you scroll up a tad bit. I think I missed it. Oh, we didn't think that one of our primary exchanges would hunt Luna and then us as a client, right?
Yeah.
So he's basically coming out and pointing the finger, and I feel like him and Zuzu probably had a big conversation privately, whereas Zoo did not want to say it outright explicitly, because what Zoo did was he came and retweeted somebody else who alluded to this idea. Kyle has come out and literally just said it out loud. But what I think a lot of people are going to be upset about is that he didn't really take responsibility, and he did at the beginning of the tweet, but he ends off the tweet really by offloading responsibility. He's like, this wasn't our fault. We got hunted by people that we partnered with.
But there's one good thing that's come out of all of this, guys. Like every event so far in crypto, and if I'm looking at the silver lining in all of these things, is the fact that the massive leverage that we've seen in crypto over the past bull cycle has reduced significantly, which is a very, very good thing getting into the next market cycle, right? So I'm looking at that as a positive thing, Sean. The fact that this is all a huge deleveraging that we're seeing across the freaking board right now, and it's going to foster a more healthy environment for the next bull run. And the next bull run, if you're asking me, gun to my head, it's happening. It's happening, and I think it's so amazing to watch the space actually survive. If we survive this, think of how much we've survived so far. The whole Luna incident, we survived 3 AC.
Definitely going to survive. I think the space is going to thrive more.
Yeah. So this is all good. What we're seeing is, it's devastating. A lot of people have lost. I have lost in the whole FTX thing. Sorry, go on.
It's cleaning out the space is all I wanted to say, and I wanted to share a takeaway that I had from the CIO of Oak Tree Capital. One of the biggest takeaways. There's a lot of takeaways from that guy, CIO and CEO. He said that, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said that he loves to step in when the market makes a mistake, right? When there's a mistake that is made by the market that forces prices down, that is one of the best times to buy, because you are getting to buy at prices that you otherwise would not have got if other other players in the market weren't as leveraged, right? Leverage pushes prices down to places where it should not be, right? So he said, I love to step in when the market makes a mistake. And this is a classic. It doesn't get bigger than this in terms of mistakes, right? Look at the people who went down here. The three biggest giants of the space, the loudest giants of the space. If you think about who were the loudest people in the space over the last year, it was Do Kwon. He was all over Twitter. It was 3AC, right? With how big they got with their hedge fund from small to humongous. And then it was SBF all over the place with his ads and mini documentaries and
stadiums and sponsorships. It's been
loud guys, and they effed up.
Yeah.
They effed up. They made a mistake, and the mistake was leveraged. All of them were leveraged. Right? Over leveraged. Jesus. So
we've covered the whole thing with Blockfi, right? That's still sort of building because Blockfi, by the way, has gone in the dark right now. There's no single word from management. There's nothing that's come out. So we're still sort of waiting on that. People are on the edge of their seats. Everyone's pretty freaking grim about them as well, right? So BlockFi was one. As far as the contagion is concerned right now, because that's what people are thinking about. There's some 100 and something companies that were listed out, wherein basically who have also filed for bankruptcy alongside FTX and Alameda. Now we had BlockFi right now who's come under heat, as well as Crypto.com. Sean, did you look at the asset side of Crypto.com? Because now everyone has rushed to this entire narrative of proof of reserves, because now all of the exchanges are trying to induce a bit more confidence in their customers because of what's happened, right? Just so they do not go through a similar bank run that FTX went through just now. So a lot of these crypto exchanges have come up with proof of reserves. Now, Crow.com came up with their proof of reserves. And yeah, this is what Crypto.com's assets looks like right now. This is their token allocation. Okay, this is a total of $2.9 billion of reserves. Also, I want you to notice how FTX, Sean, they lost $8 billion. Just to put things into perspective, 1 billion is $1,000 million, guys. $1,000 million. Okay, so I want you to fathom that number that just eroded away. But anyways, this is Crypto.com's proof of reserves, and this is where I feel Crypto.com is getting a lot of heat. This is where the heat really started. Once they came out with their asset side, a lot of people started to pick on them. So it turns out, Sean, they have 31% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, 19% in Shiba Inu, Ethereum 16, USDC 6,
they have
USDT 4. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, I would think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. When I am looking at, in the middle of a bear market, you would want to be a bit more concentrated in some of the stables, USDC, USDT. Perhaps even some of the market leaders like Bitcoin and Ethereum in the bottom of a market cycle.
You gotta understand that you gotta take into consideration their liabilities, right? You don't know if that's what all of their token holders are, all of their customers are holding. Because if they go ahead and sell all of that Shiba into USD and then Shiba Inu pumps, they are liable for Shiba Inu. Think about it. Now they are short Shiba, right? So we don't know if Crypto.com is attracting the kind of clients who rather have Shiba Inu than ETH.
That's a very good point.
We don't know. So we have to take that into consideration as well. Maybe all of their customers just love Shiba Inu. I'm glad to see they don't love Shiba Inu more than Bitcoin. They clearly love Shiba Inu more than Ethereum, which is saying a lot, right? People consider, when people buy altcoins, they're buying altcoins for the upside. They're not buying it because, hey, Ethereum's better than Bitcoin, or hey, Shiba Inu is gonna save the world. People are speculating on upside, and that's completely fine. If you're gonna gamble on shitcoins, gamble well, right? Go for the win. And then you have a majority of people who are saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be safe with 30% of my assets at the very least and buy Bitcoin. So
But
on
I
average.
think your key point over there, I thought that was great insight just now, was the fact that perhaps their token allocation has more to do with their customer allocation. That way,
Yeah.
in case markets turn, right, they're
Yeah.
not left short-handed.
Yeah.
If, say, Shiba Inu, for instance, actually pumps, and many of their customers actually hold Shiba Inu, so that's actually something to note. So it's about really being more reflective and critical about exchange token allocation.
Yeah, like
So that's
when
actually
you
a really
see-
good point, Sean. I think that's a really I'd never considered that. Like, because a lot of people are like, why are you holding 19% in Shiba Inu? So I think that's a really good point. It's probably the customers that they have enticed, all like Shiba. So that's one thing. So, but anyways, they came under massive sort of scrutiny because of this token allocation that they came out with. Now, this is their asset side. When prodded about their liabilities, they're like, no, we're not showing you the entire thing. This is what the assets look like. There you go. So, anyways, this sort of case sort of blew up. People started prodding a bit further. And now this is the new sort of development on this. Turns out now, because a lot of exchanges are trying to show proof of reserves, people are now looking into their addresses and stuff. And this one guy says, he's like, and why did Gate.io send back to Crypto.com 285,000 Ethereum 5 to 7 days later? So now the main speculation is that many of these exchanges are juggling funds between themselves to show proof of reserves. Right, so now that is the main scare right now in the market. And anyways, he provides links for the same. So fast forward, and then Chris, the main guy at Crypto.com, he's like, it was supposed to be a move to a new cold storage address, but was sent to a whitelisted external exchange address. We worked with Gate team, and the funds were subsequently returned to our cold storage. New process and features were implemented to prevent this from reoccurring. And now they got even more heat to be like, how can you be so freaking careless over 285,000 Ethereum just randomly sent to the wrong wallet?
Apparently, there are rumors that they were bouncing funds around just to get proof of reserves, but I'm not sure if that's entirely true because there's contradicting evidence to that. Some people are saying that all this happened like months ago. I don't know. But
I mean, but this is such a shit time to be fat fingering such a large amount of funds, because now you're going to bring about more scrutiny on yourselves, and that's essentially what's happening. I mean, we're seeing Crypto.com trend on Twitter, and so now a lot of people have gotten scared out of the exchange. I have friends and family who are like, nope, screw this, I'm out. Right? So this is the kind of shit that's going to start scaring people away when you're going to be this careless with people's funds.
okay, Kusha, who do you think is the biggest winner from all of this in this space?
CZ is the biggest winner, because now let's actually compile the list of exchanges that you can actually use, that you would trust. What exchange would you trust? Centralized exchanges. What about you guys? I want to know. What do you guys think? What exchange at this point would you trust?
Centralized exchange though, right? Like
I mean, because that is the easiest point. That is the easiest gateway still.
But you see my point though. Bitcoiners are all taking a victory lap saying, don't trust any centralized exchange. You know, you guys are fine. CZ is showing proof of reserves today, but this is exactly what got you guys in this mess to begin with. You guys trusted someone, right? Bitcoiners are saying that. And by the way, guys, I'm a Bitcoiner. I believe in Bitcoin. It's my favorite asset, blah, blah, blah. All that nonsense, disclaimer. But you cannot say that and not have an avenue for people to actually trade on, because Bitcoin does not have a decentralized exchange. So when I look at all the cards laid out in front of me, in my opinion, the biggest winner over here, moving forward, is going to be these layer 2s that actually have a decentralized exchange. Because why do I not use a DEX? Why do I not use Uniswap, etc.? Because I cannot trade as frequently as I want to without paying exorbitant fees on these DEXs, especially when there's massive network activity. you can't trade there, not seamlessly at the very least. But if these layer 2, I don't know anything about layer 2s, by the way, guys, but now with this narrative being pushed forward, if there's more volume on layer 2s and they can facilitate trading in even a marginally more safer way, right? Maybe there could be issues through another angle that we're going to have to look into and read about, etc., etc. We have to do our own investigation, but more and more people are going to be like, you know what? Maybe I want to do a portion of my trading on decentralized exchanges, more than just trusting just Binance or BitGet or whatever, right? I think layer 2s are going to be getting a lot more attention, and Bitcoiners are going to be saying, hey, XYZ, don't trust anyone, blah, 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 just don't trade. You can't say that, man. Like, you can't say that. I'm supposed to not have a livelihood because, I don't get that mindset entirely. It's like, just hodl. Don't touch altcoins completely. I need to touch altcoins to make a living. I need to trade them on the short to midterm timeframes. So where do I go? Well, I'm going to have to allocate accordingly, spread my funds out through various exchanges, which is what we teach in Seed, right? We say, do not trust any exchange whatsoever, never, ever use leverage to defer counterparty risk, right? For those of you who are new here, just to give you a quick summary of what I mean. Essentially, let's say you want to take a 1 Bitcoin position on a certain coin. You do not need to put 1 Bitcoin on the exchange to do that, right? You can essentially put 0.5 Bitcoin and take a 2x leverage trade. 2x leverage would put you at a 1 Bitcoin position size. So that's how we use leverage to be safer, not to put on more risk, guys. We use leverage at Mango to reduce counterparty risk. That's a core concern of ours in our community. It has always been. One of the first videos I've ever done on this channel was counterparty risk. Yeah. Right? And I explained how to use leverage to protect yourself, not to put on more risk. But that's what we do over here, right? But now we can add another element to all of this and be like, are there exchanges out there that are decentralized, that allow me to hold my funds in my DEX, right? In my wallet, in my Uniswap, MetaMask, whatever the hell, hot, cold wallet that I need to use, and then trade relatively seamlessly as well. It's not going to be as frictionless as a centralized exchange, but at least I am deferring a little bit more risk, right? So that's how we're going to have to think about things, and that's what traders are going to do. So what Bitcoin needs before they really start waving the victory flag is to give people a avenue where they can actually trade decentralized. So we need that. Bitcoiners need that.
I think there are some DEXs out there. What we can do perhaps in one of the next videos, it won't be a live, but we'll try and sort of compile a list of, popular DEXs that people use. For those of you who are still actively looking to trade, because these are hot prices right now, right? So this is something that I'd posted in the main Discord chat. By the way, guys, if you're not in the Discord chat, come on in, join the Discord chat. It's themangoway.com/Discord. You'll find a link in the description. But we were talking
about... And hit the like button. There's 100 plus.
So hit the likes if you're enjoying the content so far. But what I wanted to... Sorry, go on, Sean.
No, sorry, I'm speaking over you. I couldn't hear you. Go on.
So what I wanted to say is that it's a really, really weird point to be in right now in the market, because I understand that many of you guys are scared to an extent, right? There's fear of, are my funds safe on these exchanges? So there's this decision, like a dilemma that you're faced with. Should I take my funds off the exchange, or should I keep the funds there so I can take advantage of these amazing prices, discount prices across the board? So a lot of people have questions on that, and I think this is a good segue to get into price action right now. Sean, are you ready for price action?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Dread Mining. He's been mentioning GMX. I'll go ahead and check out GMX as well. If you guys have other suggestions for me, let me know in I'll try to keep up with the chat, but just join the Discord, like Krisha said, themangoway.com/Discord. And when you do join the Discord and you do engage with the community, we do have goodies that we give away, like exclusive content, and also other goodies that we give away privately to people who are really engaging with the chat. Like, for example, access to the Mango dashboard, or even indicators if you are consistently active.
Yeah, so with that, I can sort of go on over to the charts real quick. Let's get on over to Bitcoin. So first off, Sean, I wanted to ask you, with people actually faced with that dilemma, should they keep their funds on the exchange? Or, how do you go about a situation like this? I'm going to tell you what I am doing right now, okay? How I intend on handling the risk associated with leaving my funds on the exchange right now, and how I intend on deploying whatever I have left. Unfortunately, I deployed a lot at the 18K region. Dominic asked me this in the Grove. I deployed quite a bit at the 18K region, so I don't have too much left to take advantage of these prices right now. But whatever I do have left, what I intend on doing, I've drawn out levels for myself, and every time Bitcoin actually gets down to these levels, I'm basically taking that cash, getting it onto the exchange, buying, and then sending it back to my cold wallet. Okay, that's how I intend on keeping my shit safe. Albeit the only caveat in this is that I don't get to really take advantage of the lowest point of the market. I'm willing to sort of get the range, as opposed to being very, very specific with getting my bid in on a very specific price. At least that's how I intend on playing this. What about you guys? What are you guys doing right now? Sean, what are you doing? What's your plan on handling the risk associated with keeping your funds on the exchange and taking advantage of these prices right now? I'll be fully candid. I'm not trading anything right now. As of right now, I'm not trading anything. No positions open.
I'm not personally. The way I like to put it is that the risk has, in a way, managed itself through volatility, right? So the increased volatility has allowed me to manage the risk very, very simply by reducing my account size, my collateral by half, right? So I've withdrawn half of my account out of the exchange. So I'm trading with half of what I usually do trade with. I've increased leverage a slight bit, nothing drastic, a slight bit to account for the position sizing. But the volatility that we are getting at the moment is giving me the same juice out of my trades. So it's not really, when I'm looking at the P&L, it's not really changed much at all. But again, what you want to maximize for at the moment is counterparty risk, right? So think about what you are going to be okay losing if shit really hits the fan, and then weigh the probability of the exchange you are trading on losing X, Y, and Z money, right? So if you're trading on Kraken, for example, not sure why you'd want to trade leverage on Kraken, but if you're trading leverage on Kraken, it's a safer exchange. It's a safer exchange, should be, right? Again, we don't know. Don't trust any exchange, because you don't know when shit can go to freaking. We've seen enough now, guys. So, but maybe you can leave maybe 60% instead of 50% on, right? Now, we use BitGet. Now, I trust BitGet to the point where I'm willing to leave 50%, but maybe you trust BitGet only to the point where you're willing to leave 25% or 30%, right? Depends on your risk taste for that exchange. And if you're not trading at all, remove your funds, right? At the moment, it's very, very cheap to transfer funds back into your hardware wallet and retransfer it in the morning back when you wake up, right? So that's what I've been doing. Close out your positions overnight if you have to, or if you're leaving a position on, look to see whether you can reduce collateral while still holding that position. Of course, your leverage is going to increase if you do that. So if you're not trading, guys, overnight, if you're not holding positions overnight, it costs $7 to transfer it into an ERC20 wallet, and costs only $2.90 to transfer it to a Bitcoin wallet. It's very, very cheap to do that, and that's what we are going to have to do until all of this contagion is really, really put behind us. We don't know when all of this is going to end.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? We do not know when all of this is going to end. So as far as price action is concerned, right now all we can look at is, prevailing volatility on the chart and come up with, the next sort of levels and stuff that we're looking at. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, sorry?
What are your levels? What do you think Bitcoin comes down to?
I mean, we're still the lowest point I'm looking at right now. At least the major support that I'm looking at comes in at around 15,850. Once again, I posted this in the Discord, but let's go on over to the 4-hour time frame, because I feel like the major price action right now is happening on your lower time frames. So we did break down. Sean, you found a symmetrical triangle on some of the lower time frames, right, today?
Yeah, Bitcoin had a very easy trade on the 1 hour time frame.
So yeah, this
Again,
is it
these
right
lower
now.
time frame trades means you need to stay in the trade for a lower time, right? Like you don't increase position size and you want to take profits quicker. That's how I trade, at least. Lower the time frame, the bigger the position size, and
So a lot of people have their bids right now. I was looking at crypto Twitter. I was looking at where do people have consensus on price action, right? So a lot of people are placing the bids at that 13K region. Like, I understand if you guys get on over to the weekly time frame, you're looking at the macro picture right now. What are you seeing? What's that next major level, right? So the next major level comes in at around, okay, if you're looking at candle closes, it's actually 12K. Right, we're looking at $12,000. Yeah, $12,100 is the next major level if we drop. So what is, if you had to put in a probability of price getting down there, do you think it's going to take another sort of news event for price to capitulate down there, or could we come down there organically?
well,
Like, I mean, from where prices are right now.
Listen, Krisha, go back to again. Just for dramatic effect, okay. Pull up the Blockfi tweet again.
Pull that up. Blockfi tweet and Twitter. Boom. This was it.
Yeah. So notice that they haven't filed for bankruptcy yet. Okay. They haven't said, hey, we are done. We are going to be filing for bankruptcy. The weekend is about to end. Monday is about to be here. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a long weekend. It's likely not. But if it's not, we may see Monday open up with BlockFi announcing Chapter 11, Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And then everyone, you need to understand about the cascading effects. Until that actually happens, all BlockFi customers are still liquid. I mean, they're still solvent. They're still solvent. Okay, but as soon as that's announced, there might be a customer within BlockFi who becomes insolvent, because now that customer may have a asset liability mismatch. Right. And now they are going to have to maybe go out there and cause some market movement by selling X, Y, and Z to be able to pay back customers or pay back their liabilities. Because everyone has a balance sheet. And leverage is essentially you putting yourself in a bad position like this. But I'm not going to go into the mechanics of all this. We did so in the beginning of the stream where I explained duration mismatch, right? And a lot of people have their funds on BlockFi expecting to be able to earn a yield from it, and then that yield they are going to be. So again, this is a quick rundown. If I think that I can put my money in BlockFi and get, let's say, a 5% yield, okay, but then I borrow that money from somebody else. Let's say I go and borrow that money from Kiki, right? And she's basically allowing me to borrow money from her at a 2% interest rate. So I'm paying her 2%. BlockFi is giving me 5%. So there's a 3% spread over there, right? So people are trying to capture that spread by putting money into BlockFi, but they owe that money back to somebody else, right? Now suddenly BlockFi is insolvent. So I owe Kiki money. I owe Kiki that Bitcoin, right? But BlockFi is not giving it back to me. So now I'm in trouble. So I may need to go and sell something to be able to get that money to go give it back to Kiki, right? And we don't even know whether people were essentially putting Bitcoin as collateral to be able to. I don't want to get into the details of it, but this could get messy. We don't know until we hear about it.
Okay, so you're saying that if BlockFi comes up with bad news, they actually come out finally with a freaking word. They have not come out with anything yet. If they say that, hey, you know what, we too are filing for bankruptcy and we're insolvent, you're saying that could cause the next cascade.
Yeah, let's say this may not even lead to BlockFi this may not lead to BlockFi selling Bitcoin or anyone within or who falls contagion to BlockFi, BlockFi's insolvency. Maybe they may not even sell Bitcoin, but what it may do is it may cause a lot of traders and asset allocators to put on short positions on Bitcoin just to hedge against other people doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if people put on hedge positions, that might be enough in these current market positions of low liquidity to push price down. Because a lot of market makers have disappeared since the FTX situation. They are licking their wounds. They're not. There's less liquidity in the markets, and it's very easy to push price up or down. And we need something big to show up to be able to push price up at current sentiment levels.
Yeah. And I agree with you, and that's another thing that I was now Sean and I are having a conversation in private. I'm like, what crypto space needs right now is we need good news. I think even if BlockFi comes out and says that, hey, you know what, we're resuming withdrawals and things are all right, not the best, but all right, they could sort of possibly continue operations. I think that would be a piece of good news that could get the markets to rally, because what we're seeing right now in the whole traditional space, we saw in our last stream, Sean, we got the CPI data that came out, and the CPI data was fantastic if you compared it to forecasts. Right? So, and markets actually rallied on that. All markets rallied except crypto because of what we faced with the whole FTX debacle. Now, we're waiting on some good news to sort of contain the fear. I feel like if we can even get one piece of positive news this next week is over, this could turn around. However, I think what Bitcoin really needs to do in order to get even that bit of revival, we need to start seeing Bitcoin once again get back up over that 18.7K region. Basically the same important region of support that we sort of broke and took things down further to 15K. We need to reclaim that level first before we actually see a turnaround in this picture. If you're looking for a respite. Is there any level that you were looking at, Sean, on Bitcoin's macro chart right now? Because I feel like the eyes should be on the macro chart if we're looking for opportunity. I think 15K, I bought some at 15.9K based on my levels drawn.
You got the bottom there. She actually did that,
yeah,
guys.
I mean, I told you guys though. I was very honest, right? Before price even got down there, I went and posted on the Grove. I'm like, guys, these are the levels. So I just followed my TA. That's where I placed my bid. It was not a very big position. Like I said, I don't have too much liquidity left, but whatever I do have, I'm placing it on the key levels. So I'm saying first key level 15.8.
So I didn't buy it.
15.8, and then next, I see 13K. 13K is on the books, but the next major key level, I'm talking about critical zones, because you need to understand that Bitcoin, if you notice the way it oscillates in zones, right? There's like a price range. The prevailing price range comes in at 15.8 all the way to 18.7. So 15.8, once again, for something to really break as far as technicals are concerned, I'm talking about price action, we need to basically close a weekly over 15.8K. I think that would cause the next cascade down to 13K that everyone is looking for.
13.9.
Yeah, 13.9K. So this is the macro TA. I'm placing bids on all these levels for now. If price rallies on me, I'll buy higher with whatever I do have left. So that's the game plan for now. I'm just waiting on the charts. Sean, any cool TA that you're seeing right now? Any altcoins that you want to go over?
Oh yeah, Solana. I said this in the last stream. Sol has been a very, very easy coin to trade. So I would consider looking at Sol, guys. Of course, you want to be leaning towards short opportunities on Sol because the trend is down and there's a lot of FUD on it. But even if you guys, for whatever reason, want a long Sol, there's going to be it's trading really well according to using moving averages, etc. And the volatility is really high, so you get to put on very low position sizes and get good gains. So be careful with that, right? Don't put on your usual position sizes, not on Sol. I would say reduce position size by at least half. If you guys are using the Mango Seed risk management tools with the risk management indicator, all of that is going to be taking care. It's going to be all taken care for you, right? So you're going to be fine there. But those of you who don't have access to those indicators and the tools, just be careful. Reduce your position size, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, but Sol has been really nice to trade.
The risk management sheet freaking saved me this entire dump because I was in open positions, as many of you guys know. I lost out on some. I exited on either break even on others. So, but yeah, if it wasn't for the sheet, I would have been freaking screwed. However, Sean, as far as Sol is concerned, I'm on the weekly time frame, man. Look. Are you seeing price is currently living underneath support at 13.
That zone, Krisha, that zone right there, that zone broke cleanly on the 4-hour time frame. That's why it was
$15. So wait, what's next? I mean, what are you looking at next on this chart? Because this just looks like if we don't close over, is it like a dump? What's your next level?
Okay, so let me pull up my chart. It's not $2 like people are saying. It's more like 4-ish. Let me just go ahead and get the exact level though for you guys. Okay, the exact level is 445 all the way up to 498. So yeah, that's what you're looking at, 445 to 498.
So where does the weekly need to close for you to be like, this looks like shit, and I think we're coming down to $4? Because you need from $4 to say even is this $13? 13.11. Look at that price range there. That is a gap, right? That is the volatility range there. It was a volatile move to the upside, and more often than not, it's a volatile move to the downside. To borrow from fair value gaps.
Time frame though. So I don't think waiting for the weekly time frame is gonna be prudent because you're gonna miss the entire trade. You just wait for the 12-hour at most. So a 12-hour candle close underneath 1220, and this is coming down further. You honestly could be trading Sol only on the 4-hour time frame, and that'd be enough in my opinion. Like 2 4-hour candles is enough. I usually don't say that, guys, but that's all right now. Use the 4-hour, use the 10 SMA, you're golden.
You're looking at 1220 as your level, so you're saying 12-hour closes underneath 1220.
Yeah, 1229-ish.
Okay,
1229.
so the wick, right? You're looking at the wick low on the 12-hour.
Yeah, and that's coming in all the way from March 21st, by the way, like March 2021. That entire zone that we were bull flagging up against. You don't need to look at it now because we already set a base now over here. So yeah, 1229, 1230-ish. Just be safe and look at 1220 and look for 2 4-hour candles, and we're coming down all the way down to 5, right? 5.
That's nuts. What is that move? Let's go ahead and check out the move on Sol. If we drop, that's a 63% dump. So yeah, this is Solana. I'm not touching Sol. How about Matic? I wanted to look at Matic to see what it's been up to. I feel like that is the most talked about coin still. So let's cover Matic very, very quickly. Wow, that's a massive rejection. Sort of a hunt also in a way. Although this week's is sort of a write-off because of what's sort of taken place. And this is one thing that we had spoken about in the last stream, Sean. Like many of the altcoins, Bitcoin actually lost its range low. Like Bitcoin actually took out its bear market low, while many of the altcoins actually stuck to their ranges. So if there's any sort of, thing of positivity in the market, it's the altcoins right now. Many of them are looking half decent. If you're looking at them, yeah, like, so Bitcoin, I feel like looks like the worst besides Solana, but Solana had like massive sort of exposure to the whole FTX debacle. I mean, Alameda actually held $1 billion worth of unlocked and locked Sol on their balance sheet. So that probably spooked a lot of people to go ahead and dump their Solana, in addition to the whole news of the unlock event that was going to happen for all staked Solana. Was it staked Solana or just vested Solana? I'm not sure. But anyways, so that brought about a lot more sell pressure on Solana than it did on other coins. So, but however, other coins right now, where you're looking at the other altcoins, they look pretty freaking healthy within their ranges. So we have that. So even Matic right now, I say tomorrow we close underneath this region right here, the midpoint at 92 cents. We likely graze 82 cents once again. So for those of you looking
Why don't you tell me, Matic? Tell me what it's all about, other than layer two.
I don't know,
Why?
man. Anything. I
I've
need
been
to do
asking
some
you to
digging
shill me,
about.
Matic. I'm too lazy to go look it up. But just shill it to me, guys. Shill it to me. Matic's looking good. What else is looking good? There's another. Man, I had a list. But you know what, Christian, we might be giving altcoins a tad bit too much credit because we haven't gone through all of them. Ooh, Link hasn't broken its range either.
Yeah. You go through the charts and you'll see that many of them are actually pretty freaking healthy within their ranges. I'm not saying go ham on them. You know, always approach them, especially if you're like a trader, you're looking to trade these ranges. Have your risk management at play, have those invalidation points at play as well. Like, this is not the time to be getting too you don't want to be going to out the risk curve right now. It is not the time. All right, so be prudent with your positions. For those of you looking to accumulate, then these are, look at the macro, zoom out onto your weekly timeframes, assess your macro levels. So for Matic right now, I'm looking at this range low right here, 82 cents, and we're looking at 70 cents as the next low on the chart. Although I'll say this, we take out 70 cents, I think Matic comes down lower because we essentially lose that trend. So you could bid for lower if we lose 70 cents, which we are far way off for right now. So that's that. Ethereum also, Sean, if you look at Ethereum's chart.
How much lower do we come to, though?
Matic? So yeah, I mean, I mentioned it, right? So today's a Sunday. We open a brand new weekly candle tomorrow. I'm saying that if we actually close underneath this region right here at around 92 cents, which is our midpoint, close underneath 92 cents, I say we get another graze at 82.
Okay,
so
let's say
once
we
again,
close
back into
underneath
this
70
zone.
cents.
Zone right here, that's a good 11%.
Give them exciting targets, Kusha. You're being like so bullish at the moment. You're like, oh yeah, small move. But if we get like a massive cascade, I think we come all the way down to 30 cents on Matic. That's what people only hear right now. They only hear where can they buy their favorite coin. I think there's a possibility because you guys need to understand, Bitcoin might be the leading indicator. Bitcoin has made a new low. All of these coins have not made a new low yet. They're still holding, but from one thing I've learned from market experience is every time I've been in a situation like this where I'm like, hey, you know what? Bitcoin has not made a new low, but Nasdaq has. This has. That has. Well, guess what happens soon after? Bitcoin makes a freaking a low as well, and those assets actually rally. Right now, yeah, you could say that this is a market event, black swan event, but this has happened to me way too many times where an asset that is a leading indicator you use to actually justify your asset that has not made a low yet, right? So maybe Matic and all are still yet to make their move down. Maybe they can go lower than even 30 cents. Maybe they could go to 20 cents.
There's some FUD flying around, like Crypto Winter just mentioned. He's like, Polygon Matic is about to dump heavy, and Sam Bankman is holding a bunch of Polygon, and he is waiting to dump. So now there is like another sort of piece that came out, Sean. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the hacker, now I'm not sure if you guys know, for those of you who do not know, there was a bunch of funds. I mean, the FTX exchange, post the entire event, post the debacle, the FTX exchange was hacked, and a bunch of, how many millions were taken out of the exchange? I think $500 million was taken out of the exchange. Nobody knows who. So it's sort of been, they're basically calling this person a hacker. Now, someone's managed to track these funds and found that many of these funds went into Matic. And what was the other coin? There were two coins there. It was Matic and, do you know which one, Sean? Which are the coins? So it was Matic and something else. So the main sort of FUD right now is that, okay, this hacker has gone and dumped all of these funds into Matic and this other coin, and now they're going to dump it onto the market. So now that is the main sort of FUD that's been going on the streets. So yeah, almost $600 million was taken out of the exchange. So people are a bit skeptical about that, and I feel like that's why Matic sort of even dropped on that news.
What exchange was this?
FTX.
Wait, I lost track of what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
FTX, so the FUD right now on Matic was that FTX was hacked.
Okay. So $600 million of Matic. Okay.
Yeah.
FTX wasn't really hacked, guys. Come on, don't be so gullible.
Yeah.
Come on. They weren't really hacked.
So nobody knows what the true news is. But yeah, I don't think FTX was hacked. I think this was more of an inside job. on someone who had a backdoor built into the system to be able to take out funds. But what was important about this entire thing is that the funds were taken out and it was consequentially then traded in for Matic. So that is something to note, and that's where Matic is getting a lot of heat right now. However, what I'm trying to do here, and it's really hard, is try to separate the TA from the fundamentals. Understand that, okay, fine, you know what, the market conditions are shit, so perhaps you can start getting greedy on your bids. But one thing I'm going to say to the traders out there, volatility has picked up, so make sure to trim out your position sizes. Be very, very careful on your position sizes because of volatility. Alrighty, so just take a note on that. Yeah, Matic right now, I think the bargain buy comes in if we lose 70 cents, which I've marked out right here. So this is that 70 cent region. Okay. If we lose 70 cents, Sean, I think we actually come down to 45. I think that's the next major level for Matic. 45 cents from 70 to 45, that would be another 34% dump to the downside. Do you think that's a plausible level? Historically, it's been pretty good too. 45 cents.
Yeah, 45 is a good level. Yeah, I agree with that.
45 cents was, like, if you look at the bull market of the previous bull market, April 2021. As soon as we took that out, it was like it just swept right through, right? The bulls.
Honestly, I'm shocked. Matic held 35 on the first dump during the 3AC. Like, if it lost that level, it was coming down so deep, like 4 cents. So that's the scare. Like Matic, if it goes through some sort of weird liquidity cascade move, right? If it has a cascading event, there could be a massive opportunity at 4 cents. Because that's what I was looking for on the first move all the way down where it stopped at 35-ish. And if it didn't stop there, oh, God help Matic, it was coming all the way down, and that would have been such a good buy. But it freaking held, and it bounced pretty hard, and then came out with.
And we really need to dig into Matic. I don't know enough about this project, and it's I feel like it's gonna cost me next run up. So I'll be spending next week learning a bit more about this project. So this is Matic. What other coin do you want to cover? Is there anything else that you're looking at right now, Sean?
You could look at Cosmos and Link. We could start with Link. Link is sitting on support at the moment, flat at $6. If it loses $6, it could come all the way down to 450-ish.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, next major level, 450. That's gonna be a nice swift move. Yep. Pretty swift.
So Link is
25%.
It's going to be an easy trade if you close a week. You're going to have to wait for the weekly, though, in my opinion, because it's been pretty strong. The daily level is coming in at 5. I would say 530-ish. Yeah.
I mean that this level at the current region of support that we're holding right now is also like it's been followed pretty decently even on the 3-day time frame. If you look at the 3-day, for those of you who want to take note of the support, this comes in at $6.06. So yeah, closing candles. Wow. Price is respecting. Yeah, it's going to be a very clean trade. So confirm closes. Yeah, we could see that move 25% to the downside all the way to $4.44. I wouldn't jump the gun though here. Support is not a good time to be jumping the gun. Wait on the break.
At him and then we wrap up. I'm too hungry, man. Too hungry. I can't think anymore.
Alrighty. Cosmos. Ugh. I hate it when the daily looks so damn ugly. Cosmos is.
If it closes the weekly underneath 1163, I think we're gonna see further down, and it's likely gonna do that. It's only.
Notice how many of these coins, though, Sean, are currently sitting smack on support, eh? Many of these coins are sitting on support right now. People are bearish, rightfully so. We get one piece of positive news in the crypto space. We're going to see rallies across the board.
What kind of positive news though?
Even if you know, one company, I'm seeing I think Blockfi coming out and just giving people positive news would lead to a rally. However, if they come up with negative news, we all know what's going to happen to these regions of support. It's going to break like that. So watch out for how the market reacts to these news drops, because I feel like right now the market is very, very sensitive to news drops right now. So that is something to brace yourselves for. And that's why I'm like, traders, position size is everything right now. Volatility is picked up. Make sure you're trimming down your position sizes compared to what you would usually trade otherwise. So be careful.
Don't see positive news coming out anytime soon, honestly.
Hey, you know, you gotta be. We need something to hold on to here. We're gonna try.
Like,
We're gonna try.
When I woke up to that BlockFi email, I'm like, shit, this is. I think BlockFi securing a bailout, a second bailout, is the best we can hope for, right? If BlockFi actually manages to do that, that's going to be the first piece of semi-confidence we can look toward. But again, long term, I think this is great for crypto. I think this is really, really good. I think more and more people are going to be moving on over to either becoming a Bitcoin maxi, right? I'm just saying, F it. I'm not going to be touching altcoins whatsoever. Or two, they are going to start using decentralized exchanges, right? And I think long term that's going to be healthy. It's going to also push more innovation in that market. It's going to push layer twos to maximize for both security and for, when I say security, I'm talking about decentralization. They're going to maximize for decentralization as well as for efficiency / scalability, which is kind of hard to do, right? But if Ethereum actually manages to have a good foundational layer, but the thing is, Ethereum is not decentralized enough. Maybe they'll get there eventually. So I'm really long-term betting on Bitcoin pulling off something where it has a nice, strong foundational layer, but the layer twos now on top of that need to start. The innovation needs to start ramping up on the layer twos, because Bitcoiners always had this goal of, hey, we're going to keep the layer one simple and foundational and secure. Okay, on top of that, the layer twos is where we'll build everything. Ethereum said, nope, we're gonna scale on the base layer. They failed at that. They tried it and then they gave up on that idea. Mostly because DeFi did not allow them to go as far as they wanted to with their sharding ideas. So they kind of pull back on that idea, and now they are scaling on layer two. So we are yet to see a solution that is fully that has both decentralization as well as scalability. I haven't seen that yet. So let's see. Maybe the future will surprise us.
Fingers crossed on that. Ethereum's proof of stake migration and their new burn mechanism is making things very interesting, and I think it's going to make things very interesting for Ethereum's price action because of these new tokenomics. It's going to make, Ethereum is, I think, something to watch out for in the next bull run. However, right now, you know what? I just found something on Cosmos is look at the pattern play. I think we've actually broken. There's confirmation on the break. M-like formation. This could, if this is a proper trigger, this comes down likely. So first stop measured move is $7.81. However, if we come down there, I'm saying we'll likely make it all the way down to the next major region of support, which comes in at around $6.85. But yeah, this is a break. Look at the volume that's poured in on the break too. We could see this. We could see this move actually sustain here. This could be hinting at another move to the downside. Something to watch out for, guys. Link USDT. Looking weak here, taking out the weekly low as well, so the trend is broken officially. So these are the altcoins that we're looking at. I'll take one more request on an altcoin or any other coin that you want us to cover, and then we can wrap this baby up. Also, guys, for those of you who are not in the Discord chat, join the fam.
I'm so hungry. If we can check out the dashboard to see if there's any coins that are looking interesting on the volatility spectrum. If you look at the lower time frames, that's what I've been using essentially.
Daily time frame. The vol on the daily is just freaking stupid right now.
It's not giving us information though, right? Other than FBDC, there's nothing on the daily time frame that's telling us anything that would surprise us. But if you look at the 4-hour time frame and you filter by volatility, Kusha, that's where you want to filter by volatility and then look for coins with volume, of course. And at the moment, Bitcoin and Ethereum seem the most interesting to me.
Yeah.
We also have Rune, I guess, that we could take a look at. UNT is in there. Nice. Okay, so let's take a look at Rune and EGLD as well.
I remember you playing Rune in the last bull market. You did pretty well on that one. Rune USDT 27 on. Okay, so volatility, guys, for those of you who are new here, volatility goes from a spectrum of 0 to 100. 0 being low volatility, 100 being super high volatility. When volatility sort of squeezes down to these really low numbers, we can expect another sort of burst. However, these bursts, usually probability lies in that the burst happens in the direction of the prevailing trend. Right now, we know that the trend is a downtrend, right? So we can expect a move usually to the downside unless the chart proposes something else. Use this as confirmation indicators more than anything else. But yeah, Rune USDT short right now. What are your thoughts on the chart? You want to look at the chart as well?
Yeah, that's what I meant. So let's take a look at the chart. Not Kishan, like just look at the dashboard.
I that's how I filter out the coins that I've been trading. It's been doing me pretty well so far. So my trading was super slow today. Okay, there we go. Oh, yuck! This is disgusting. What is this? Okay, this chart is also really nasty, so I'm just gonna try and I'm just gonna move some lines down here. So we have resistance right here at around $1.41. Support at $1.02. Are you some? Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a decent. It's a very neat range. That's one thing I like about the coins that don't have too much. It's not too much interest on it per se. Is that they usually follow TA to the T. It's very, very easy to play patterns and ranges on these charts. So
let's look at the 4. Sure. Let's look at the 4.
Okay. Let's go. Here it is. It's decent.
Okay, turn on the EMAs. I think it makes its way back to the bottom of the range if it doesn't reclaim the 21 EMA, but I think it's making its back. I think it's making its way back to the bottom of the range regardless. What would that move be? Good 10%, 11%?
Yeah.
Like if you get a test of the 21 EMA, that's a shot. Yeah, there you go, 11%. Yeah, so it didn't quite make it to the 21 EMA, but guys, I posted a really nice. Oof. Okay, so that's what it touched instead. But if you guys in the C program, check out the Mango Sprout section. I've posted a trade setup in there that I use a lot on these breakdowns, right? Essentially, if you use the combination of the EMA SMAs that I've posted in there, those are high probability trades. So look through the breakdowns and use this zone for practice because you're going to see those opportunities show up over here.
Yeah. And this was a clear. Notice how broke down every sort of test of the dynamic so far has been a good, decent short opportunity. What other coin are you looking at, Sean?
Go back to the dashboard.
There we are. Doge USDT. The volume is rank 3 on here. Nuts. Anyone trading Dogecoin? Elon had this freaking thing. He was on one of these Twitter spaces, and someone apparently asked him a question. How did the story go, Sean? Were you in a part of that Twitter space?
Oh, yeah. He just entered and somebody pulled him up on stage and asked him a question. He just ignored the question entirely and said, "Doge to the moon," and laughed. Right? It sounded like he was driving. He says, just like, "Doge to the moon," ha 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 ha. And everyone just went berserk and Doge pumped.
Oh, God.
So, yeah.
It's like a freaking joke now. Yeah, so you're saying, are you looking at anything
All right,
else?
we can wrap up over here now.
Okay.
I think we've gone through enough.
Cool, guys. I hope you all enjoyed today's live stream. Get back on to the charts. Last look at Bitcoin. Boom. So yeah, if you guys haven't already smashed that like button, go ahead and do so. It helps out the channel tremendously. And if you all liked the stream today, you liked the information that was presented as well as the TA, make sure to smash that like button. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is on your end of the world. Enjoy the day, and we will see you, well, in the next update. Sean, any parting words?
Nope. Until next time, guys, do the mango way, do the easy way, do the stress-free way. Ciao.
Ciao, you guys.